Hello, good morning. This is the next topic for engineering economy and the next is interest rates. Sir, alam na namin tong interest rates. Ano pa lang, mula pa lang dun sa pinakaunang topic na simple interest, this is already defined. Pero, i-define natin ngayon yung nominal interest rate at saka effective interest rate because there are two types. Okay? Um, I think dun sa huli kong binigay na exercise, meron mga problems na compounding interest tapos meron ng topic na may nominal interest rate which is hindi ko pa naituro last time. Okay? So ngayon magfo-focus tayo doon. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Okay? Kasi pwede nag-advance kayo, nakita niyo yung formula kung paano siya gawin, pero medyo malabo sa inyo. Okay? So let's define the difference nito. So what is I think let's just skip this slide kasi interest rate is the rate kung gaano kalaki yung magiging tubo sa utang mo or kung gaano kalaki yung magiging tubo or profit from your investment. So it works both ways. Okay? If you are a borrower, then you pay the interest. If you are the lender, then you are being paid. Okay? You will be paid kung ano man yung interest doon sa iyong investment. There are two types. Katulad na sinabi ko, we have nominal and we have effective. Pero dito pa lang, let us define muna anong ibig sabihin ng word na nominal. Okay? When you say nominal, ililink ko siya sa ibang words katulad ng name o kaya ay title. Okay? Name, tawag sa kanya. Okay? Title, parang ayun, o ano yung pangalan niya. Ganun, di ba? Okay, let's make an example. Pero this is more on construction. Okay? So, let's say, bibili tayo ng lumber. Okay? Or bibili tayo ng, let's say, good lumber. Let's say, 2 inches by 4 inches. Good lumber. Tapos, S4S. Okay? When you say S4S, this is surfaced on 4 sides. Okay? Ibig sabihin, makinis lahat ng sides niya. Kasi diba syempre, normally, when you get your lumber, syempre, puno yan eh. So, hindi mo naman magagawang super straight yung cut. Diba? Unless, i-machine mo siya. Tama? So, when you say 2 by 4, ang iisipin mo, bale, ang size ng lumber is 2 inch yung kanyang lapad, tapos 4 inch yung kanyang taas. Okay? But, since it is S4S, makinis yan. So, most probably gagamitin sa cabinets or sa kung ano man kasi makinis. Ngayon, dahil makinis siya, kinatam yan. Okay? Ibig sabihin, inalis yung mga imperfections sa lahat ng sides. Gilid, taas, baba. Okay? So, as a result, syempre, mababawasan yung dimension niya. Imbis na 2 inches yan, syempre dahil kinatam siya, mababawasan yan. So, let's say, 1.8 inches na lang siya. And let's say yung kanyang depth is, imbis sa 4 inches siya, let's say 3.6 inches na lang. Okay? So, ililink natin yung nominal dito at saka yung effective. When you say nominal, it is the name of an object, the name of something. Okay? So, 2 by 4, yun ang pangalan niya. But, it is really 2 by 4. Is it really 2 by 4? So, hindi. Dahil nga meron siyang kinatam sa kanya, nabawasan yung dimension niya. And instead of 2 by 4, ang dimension niya actual is 1.8 by 3.6. Okay? You can think of nominal and effective that way. Nominal is the name, but effective is the actual. Okay? So, ganun siya. Let's go to the straight definition of both interest rates, nominal at saka effective. Nominal, lang sabi dito sa definition, this is straight from, I think this definition is from Investopedia. Basta ginugoogle ko lang yan. Pag nakita kong tama, sige, okay na yan. Nominal interest rates refer to the advertised or stated. Okay? Advertised or stated. Ibig sabihin kung ano yung tawag sa kanya, kung ano yung pangalan niya, kung ano yung title niya. Of an interest rate on a loan without taking into account any fees or compounding of interest. Okay? Ano ba example ng mga nominal interest rate? I think nakita nyo na to dun sa last exercise ninyo. Let's say, mga 10% compounded, let's say semi-annually. Tapos 10% compounded quarterly. At saka 10% compounded ngayon, let's say monthly. Okay, they are all 10%. It looks like they have the same interest rates, 10%. Ang naiba lang is yung compounding periods. Ang question, alin dyan sa tatlong yan ang may actual interest rate na 10% sa isang taon? Alin dyan? A, B, or C? Ang sagot ay wala. This is not 10% in 1 year. This won't be 10% in 1 year. And this won't be 10% in 1 year as well. Okay? Because they are just names and their effects. But their effects are different. Okay? So how do we compute for their effective interest rate kung ang binigay sa atin ay nominal lang? Okay? First, let's define muna ano yung effective. Okay? Kasi syempre, ito mga pangalan lang to, di ba? Kung ano yung talagang effect nila, yun yung effective interest rate. Effective interest rate is the interest rate on a loan or financial product restated from the nominal interest rate, ibig sabihin, recalculated from the nominal interest rate, and expressed as the equivalent interest rate in if compound interest was payable annually in arrears. Okay? Sir, teka lang, parang nagulo ang aking isipan kasi hindi ka sanay sa mga terms na ganito. Ano yung arrears? Okay? When you say arrears, it is something that is done on the end of a term. Halimbawa, kasi may mga ganitong, naka-encounter na ako ng ganitong options, I think sa bank or hindi ko matandaan kung saan. Pinapili ka payment daw. Define mo natin itong arrears kasi parang bago siya. Although this is not that relevant dito sa definition, I think you can get the definition without that additional word. Pero let's define. Okay? You can either pay in advance or in arrears. Let's say sa cellphone na lang. Cellphone. Let's say yung cellphone mo ay hinuhulugan mo for, let's say 2,000 a month. 2,000 per month. Ano yung ibig sabihin nung you pay in advance? When you pay in advance, you pay in the beginning of every month. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, bawa, this is January, this is February, this is March. This is January, this is February, this is March. Sorry. January, February, March. Okay. So, when you pay in advance, yung payment mo for January is done on the beginning of January. Tapos, your payment for February is done on the beginning of February. And the payment for March is done at the beginning of March. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng pay in advance. When you pay in arrears, ibig sabihin at the end of every term. Okay? Ibig sabihin, when you are paying in arrears, your payment for January will be at the end of January. Your payment for February will be at the end of February. So, March, end of March. So, when you say in arrears, ibig sabihin lang nun, parang pinaganda lang na at the end of every term. Okay? So, ang sinasabi dito sa definition natin, when you calculate the effect of a nominal interest rate, okay, tapos kinompute mo siya kung ano yung effect niya at the end of 1 year, okay, sabi, annually in arrears. So, ibig sabihin, at the end of every year. Okay? So, anong epekto niya? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng payable annually in arrears. So, anong epekto niya at the end of 1 year? Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. So, let's get back doon sa example kanina. Ayan, sabi, this can also be known as annual, ibig sabihin, yearly, Okay? So, ibig sabihin, when you see the word effective, ibig sabihin, ano yung effect niya sa loob ng isang taon? Okay, that's annual, or that's effective interest rate. So, annual effective rate. That's the other name of effective interest rate. Now, let's go back to the example I provided you earlier. So, we have the nominal, and we will try to calculate its effective interest rate. Hindi mo na akong papakita ng formula. I know you can solve this. Tawag dyan. You can solve this kahit walang formula. Maiintindihan nyo to kahit wala pang formula. Mamaya ako nabibigay sa dulo. Ano yung pinagko-compare natin? 10% compounded semi-annually. Tapos 10% compounded quarterly. Tapos 10% compounded, let's say bi-monthly. And 10% compounded monthly. Okay. So, anong effective interest rate nila? If not 10%. Ganito kasi ibig sabihin nito. Ang ibig sabihin ng 10% compounded semi-annually. Ito kasi, ito yung 10%, yung rate. Tama? Tapos, yung nominal rate. Tapos, yung semi-annually na word doon sa nominal interest rate na yun. Ito yung compounding period. Ibig sabihin, your money is compounded every half a year. Tama ba? So, ibig sabihin nito, sir, 2 beses mako-compound ng 10% ang pera mo sa isang taon. Hindi. Gagawin mo ganito. Yung 10%, hahatiin mo yan sa 2 because you have to do this 10% twice a year. Kasi ang sabi, the compounding period is semi-annually. Okay? So, you have to split that 10% into every semi-annual. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? So, ibig sabihin, when you, let's say, invested for 10% semi-annually, 5% will be compounded. 5% will be compounded on the middle of the year, and the other 5% will be compounded at the end of the year. So, ibig sabihin, ilang compounding periods ang nadaanan mo sa isang taon. So, 2. So, anong mangyayari? So, if you have 1 peso, okay, na dineposit at inilagay mo sa interest rate na to, okay, ang mangyayari, for the first compounding period, that's 1 times 1.05 because the interest rate is 5%. Tama ba? At the middle of the year. So, ano mangyayari? Di magiging 1.05 na yung pera mo after 1 year. After 6 months, after half year. Okay? Tapos, that 1.05 will again be compounded by 5% at the end of the second semi-annual. Tama ba? So, 1.05 times 1.05 is, nasa yung calculator? Ayan. Is 1.1025. Okay? So, yung piso mong pera at the beginning of the year, yung pera mo piso lang. Na-compound dun sa gitna ng taon, naging 1.05. Yung 1.05 na compound ulit by another 5%, kaya naging 1.1025. Okay? So, ano yung tinubo ng pera mo? It's not 10%. Kasi kung 10% ang tinubo ng pera mo, ang magiging pera mo lang is 1.10 sakto. Tama ba? So, imbes na 1.10, meron pang additional, meron pang 20.0025 na additional. So, ano ngayon ang interest rate mo? So, that's 10.25%. Gets mo? Okay. So, ayun. Yung 10% compounded semi-annually, the effect niya is 10.25%. Okay? So, yun. So, let's try to derive the formula ng pag-compute ng effective interest rate from a given nominal interest rate. Okay? So, ang formula ay ganito. Formula. Okay? So, effective interest rate equals IE equals ano nga ulit yun? 1 plus R over M raised to M minus 1. Okay? So, yan siya. M is the number of compounding periods. When you say M, ayun yung, kung semi-annual, edi dalawa. Kung quarterly, edi 4. Kung bi-monthly, edi 6. Okay? So, R is the nominal rate. In our case, that's 10%. Okay? So, ayun. And IE is the effective. Or sa ibang libro, that's simply I, interest rate. Tandaan mo, when you say effective interest rate, yun yung effect niya sa isang taon. Okay tayo ron? Okay. So, let's continue solving the others. So, 10% compounded quarterly. Bale sa 10 divided by 4, di 2.5. Every quarter, magko-compound ng 2.5% yung pera mo. So, that's 1. Kung 1 piso yung pera mo, magko-compound ng 0.025%. And that will happen for 4 times in a year. Tama ba? So, that's it. So, that's 1.1038. Tapos, if you take out the principal, minus 1, so ang interest rate talaga ng 10% compounded quarterly is 10.38%. 10.38%. Okay? Eh, yung 10% compounded by monthly. Eh, di ilan yun? Kung by monthly, mahati sa, anong interest rate per period? Ayun, 0.83. 0.8333, di ba? So, if we use the formula, that's 1 plus R over M. R natin is 10. Tapos M natin is 6 kasi you have 6 compounding periods. Okay? Tapos minus 1. So that's 10.43. Eh yung compounded monthly. Kung compounded monthly, you have 12 compounding periods in a year. Hati-hatiin mo yun. Yeah, 10.47. Okay? So, ano napapansin nyo? So, ito yung kanilang talagang totoong kulay. Yun yung actual. Okay? Kaya naisip nyo, effective, that is the real effect. Okay? If you have 10,000 pesos and you invested it in a bank earning this much interest, so after 1 year, you will have 10,250 if you deposit this into that much interest rate. You will have 10,380 plus if you have this interest rate. You will have this effective yield or effective gain sa isang taon if you will deposit into this nominal interest rate and so on. And kung papansin mo, the more compounding period sa isang taon, the larger its effect in a year is. Okay? Kasi mas maraming compounding periods, mas maraming interest ang naiinteresan pa. Okay? Mas nagmamadali yung compounding periods, mas nagiging dumadami yung interest rate. Okay? Mas nagiging madami yung tubo. Okay? So, now you understand the nominal and the effective. Okay tayo ron? So, yan yung formula of using that. Formula niyan. Ngayon, if we apply that, I think nasagot na natin to. Ayan o. What is the effective interest rate? Ano effective interest rate ng 10% compounded annually? When yung compounding period is annual, ibig sabihin, ilang compounding periods meron ka sa isang taon? Ano effective niyan? The 10% din. Paki-ignore to sorry. Paki-ignore tong Hindi ko nabure. So, even if you use the formula, para ka lang naglaro na 10 divided by 1, tapos 1, O, di po. Ibig sabihin, the only nominal interest rate that has the same effect as its nominal rate is when you compound it annually. Di ba? Anyway, tapos ito, yung sinagutan natin kayo na 10.25%, tapos 10 point, I think 38, tapos 10.40 something, ano yun, 43, tapos 10.47, and that's it. Okay? So, yun yung mga sagot natin. You can just rewind the video back para dun sa solution. Okay? Tapos, next example is example 2. So, what interest rate compounded quarterly can be used instead of a 12% interest rate compounded semi-annually and have the same effect? Okay. Ang tinatanong, parang gusto mong palitan yung 12% interest rate compounded semi-annually. Papalitan mo lang siya ng pangalan, gagawin mo ang X% interest rate compounded quarterly, but they will be having the same effective interest rate as stated, sabi, and have the same effect. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, X% compounded quarterly ay equal lang effect kay 12% compounded semi-annually. Okay? So, ibig sabihin parehas lang sila ng effective interest rate. Ang effective interest rate netong una ay 1 plus R over M. Ang M niya ay 4 since quarterly ang compounding. So, you have 4 compounding periods minus 1 equals 1 plus 0.12 divided by 2 raised to 2 minus 1. Okay, then you simply have to solve kung ano yung R, ano yung pangalan nun. Pero, to give you an idea, syempre, hindi yan malayo doon sa ano. Hindi siya malayo doon sa 12%. Diba? Anong hula mo? Mas maliit o mas malaki? Mas maliit, dapat. Okay? Anyway, let's try to solve 1 plus x over, x over 4 raised to 4 minus 1 equals 1 plus 0.12 over 2 squared minus 1. Okay, then shift solve. Wala. Ayan. So, ayan. I think yung pinakasagot natin, kasi extraneous naman yung 4 eh. You can't have an imaginary root. Diba? So, the negative interest rate one is, of course, hindi pwede. So, ang sagot is 0.11825. So, that's 11.83%. Ibig sabihin, 11.83% compounded quarterly has the same effect as 12% compounded semi-annually. Okay? So, yun. Next. Kung kanina ang mga tanungan natin is conversion lang, now let's apply that to compounding problems. Okay? Bago tayo dyan, ito muna. Alam natin na ang formula for compound interest is F equals P times 1 plus I, 1 plus I raised to N. Tama ba? Where I is interest rate per compounding period. Tapos N is number of compounding period. Pero, we count this dati N is equal to number of years. Parang ganun eh. Parang ganun ang definition. Kaya, nagkaroon ngayon, nung pinasok yung nominal interest rate, nagkaroon ngayon ng panibagong formula pa. Pero panibago nga ba? Kasi ang sabi, F equals P times 1 plus, sabi, if the interest rate is nominal, then you are going to denote that as R. Tama ba? R divided by M raised to M times N. Okay? So, ang definition nito is M is N is ilang years. Tama ba? Tapos M is gaano karami yung compounding period in per year. Tama, tapos ito, ayun. Number of compounding periods per year. Okay? But, is this formula really different from this? Actually, hindi naman eh. Kasi, if you consider this as your pinaka-formula lang, actually, kahit hindi ka nagwamit nito eh. Dagdag alalahanin pa. You just have to understand what you are dealing with. You just have to understand ano yung compounding periods talaga at ano talaga yung compounding factor per period. Okay? Now, let's try. Isolve natin itong example 3 using both formulas and you see for yourself what is easier for you. Okay? So, if you applied for a loan that offers 12% compounded bi-monthly, how much interest rate are you going to pay for a 100,000 loan to be paid at the end of 2 years? Gano'ng kalaking tubo yung babayaran mo? Okay? Of course, you're going to return the capital 100,000 plus interest on top of that loan. Okay? So, let's use the formula muna, yung F. Since you know that you are dealing with a nominal interest rate, ang papasok sa isip mo, okay, gamitin ko yung formula na F equals P times 1 plus R over M raised to Mn, which is very easy to remember naman. Pero sa eco kasi I really find other formulas unnecessary. So, we'll try to use the other formula. Yung sinabi ko kanina, later. So, ang future worth na 100,000 na yan, if you borrowed 100,000 initially, so yung P mo is 100,000. Okay? Teka. Tapos, times 1 plus yung R mo is 0.12. Tandaan na ang R is always nakadecimal. Okay? Ang bi-monthly ang iyong compounding period, so every 2 months. So that's 6. You have 6 compounding periods per year. Tapos number of years 2. Tapos 6. Okay? So if you try to solve for that, 2 times 6. That's 126,824. Point, ano yun? 17, let's say 18 na lang. Tingnan sagot natin. Okay? Pero kung sa una pa lang, you understand it this way. Tignan mo. You applied for a loan that offers 12% compounded by monthly. Dito pa lang may isip mo na, kung bi-monthly ang compounding period, ibig sabihin every 2 months. So sa isang taon may 6 na 2 months. So ibig sabihin, itong 12% na yan, hahatiin ko pa yan sa 6. Diba? So ibig sabihin, every 2 months, my money is compounded by 2%. Tama ba? Ilang bi-months ba ang meron sa 2 taon? Ilang bi-months? Ilang 2 months meron sa 2 taon? Di ba, 6? So, ibig sabihin, your money will be compounded 12 times. At saka, parang mali sinabi ko kanina, 12 pala. 12 by months ang meron sa 2 taon. Sabihin, your money will be compounded 12 times. So, if you write it simply like this, F equals 100,000 yung pera mo, and every compounding period, which is every 2 months, your money is compounded by 2%. So, 1.02. Tapos, how many compounding periods do we have? 2 years by months. Di 12 by month ang meron. So, that's 100,000, 1.02 raised to 12. Same. 126,824.18. So that is why I find this formula unnecessary, because you just have to understand what you are dealing with. Diba? Ano talaga? Kasi when you say compounding periods, hindi naman automatic na years yan eh. It can be days, it could be months, it could be weeks, it could be semi-annual, quarters. Depende sa problem. Okay? So, yun. Pero hindi pa yan ang sagot. Kasi ang tinatanong is how much interest. So, the only answer is 26,000. 26,824.18. Interest lang ang tinatanong. Anyway, pagka nag-quiz tayo, kung may choices man o baka pag finals, lalagay ako ng mga sagot. Yung may excite ka. Kita mo yung sagot mo doon sa choices. Oh, ito yung sagot ko. Pero hindi yun ang tinatanong. Ang tinatanong ay interest, hindi final amount. Okay? So, that's it. And for the last example, you made an investment of 500,000 pesos, compounded 8%, compounded quarterly, parang doble yun and you intend to withdraw it once it doubles. So, however, after 3 years, you had an emergency and decided to withdraw half of the amount that is in your investment account. So, if you still intend to withdraw all of it once it reaches 1 million pesos, how many additional months are needed? O how many additional months are, kung ano yung nadagdag na buwan? Okay? Sabi ganito, nag-invest ka 500,000. You know na mag-grow yun by 8% compounded quarterly. Tapos, sabi, withdrawin mo yun once na madoble siya. So, ibig sabihin, once na umabot na 1 milyon. Okay, pero isipin mo, gaano katagal yun? Ilang months ang aabutin nun? Ilang months siya. Okay, anyway, kumpitin muna natin yun. 1 million, ang gagawin nating formula is 1 million yung future worth, tapos yung kanyang present worth is 500,000. 1 plus 0.08 sabi compounded quarterly, 8% compounded quarterly, so that means every quarter 2% every quarter. Okay? So, 1.02. Tapos, ano yung compounding periods? Ang compounding periods ay quarterly. Tandaan mo kung ano yung nandun na compounding periods doon sa ano mo, doon sa nominal interest rate. Dapat yun din yung ilalagay mong N dito. If you are compounding quarterly, bibilangin mo ilang quarters ang dadaanan mo. Okay? So, raised to N. Okay? Pero this N is not in years but in quarters. Kasi itong 0.2, itong 2% is every quarter. So kapag solve natin yan, ang mabibilang natin is ilang quarters ang aabutin before you reach 1 million pesos. Okay? So let's try. Yan, 35 quarters. 35.00 o let's say 35.0 o 00 na lang quarters. Ilang months yun? Syempre, 1 quarter is ilan? 3 months. Tama ba? 3 months yun. Pag sinabing quarter, hinati yung isang taon sa 4 So, isang quarter is 3 months. So, 35 times 12, times 3. So, you have 105 months. Okay, 105 months, ang original na target mo na pag-i-investan mo yan. Okay, ilan yun? Wala pang 10 taon yan. Tama? Ngayon, after 3 years daw, syempre, nananahimik yung pera mo. Tapos, nagkaroon ka ng emergency, hinugot mo yung kalahati. Okay? Hinugot mo yung kalahati. So, that's, magkano na yung pera mo after 3 years? So, F equals 500,000. Let's say F3. Ibig sabihin, magkano na yung pera mo after 3 years? 500,000, 1 plus 2% every quarter. Tapos, ilang quarters bale yung dinaanan mo nun? So, apat na quarter sa isang taon, ay nakatatlong taon na. So, dumaan na ng 12 na quarters. So, magkano na yung pera mo? Guys, if you are not comfortable with this solution, you can try solving this using the formula na may R at saka may M. Pero I really do like the writing numbers na according to their definition. Okay, not according to the formula. 500,000 plus times 1.2% compounded, and your B will be compounded 12 quarters. So, after 3 years, ang pera mo na is 634,120.90. Okay? This is your money after 3 years. Ngayon, babawasan mo siya. Kasi nagkaroon ka ng emergency and gusto mong kunin yung kalahati niyan. Okay? So, if we do that, ang matitira na lang sa account mo is 317,060.45. Okay? Hinugot mo yung kalahati, natira yung kalahati. And ang gagawin mo is, tawag dyan, ang gagawin mo ay palalaguin mo siya ulit hanggang sa makarating siya ulit ng 1,000,000. Pero, kasi yun sabi, if you stick to your plan na withdrawin mo siya kapag umabot na siya ng 1,000,000, o ano pa, magkano pa, ilang buwan pa ulit siya aantayin mo. So, using this fund na kung ano yung natira, kasi 317 yung withdraw mo, 317 yung kalahati. So, 1,000,000 ang future worth na tinatarget mo. And you now have 317,060.45 in your account. And ilang quarters pa ang dadaanan bago maging 1,000,000. So, store natin to. Wala. Ano yung na-store dun sa A? Times 2 nga natin yun. Ayan. Oops. Okay. Okay. Ayan. So, ship solve. 1,000,000 ang future worth. A yung present worth. 1 plus 2% yung per quarter. And you are counting how many quarters it will take. 58 quarters. Okay? Ibig sabihin, 58 additional quarters aside from yung 3 years na umandar na. Okay? Oh, sorry. Ilang months to? Ilang months yan? 58 times 3. 174 months. Okay? So, bale, ang total, kung mag-withdraw ka ng kalahati after 3 years, ang total na inantay mo bago umabot ng 1,000,000 is yung naunang 12 at yung naunang 3 taon, which is 36 months. Mga 3 taon yun eh. Tapos, plus yung 174 months na additional. So, ibig sabihin, you are going to wait, from the start na nag-invest ka ng 500,000, you are going to wait 36 plus 174 months, 210 months. Okay? So, ang additional months na aantayin mo dahil dinamage mo yung investment mo after 3 years, kung kanina, ang kailangan mo lang is 105 months. Ngayon, dahil nag-withdraw ka ng kalahati after 3 years, naging 210 months na. So, ang additional natin is 210 minus 105 is also 105 months din. Ito yung sagot natin. Okay? Okay tayo ron? So, yun. Anyway, try nga natin isolve ng try natin isolve ng ng may formula, yung R over M. Pero I think Parehas lang din yun eh. Yung M naman doon, by months naman ang unit nun. Subukan natin. 1 million. Ito yung simula. Ilang months? Bibilangan mo ko ilang months. Ilang years pala ang aabutin. Ilang years. 500,000. Tapos 1 plus 0.08. Tama ba? Kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Tama. Tapos you have quarterly. Tapos ilang N. N is now in years. So N equals. Ginagamit ko yung formula rito ha. So 1 million 500k. Siguro I will just go with calculations pero hindi na ako mag-explain. Ay. Ayan, 8.75 years. Pagka ginamit mo yung may R at may M, yung N, ang unit niyan, years na yan, matic. Okay? Ngayon, nag-withdraw ka ng, after 3 years, nag-withdraw ka. Pero magkano na yung pera mo? Siyempre, ang amount na ay 634,120. Katulad kanina. Tapos divide natin by 2. Okay. So, natira sa investment mo is 317,060.45. Okay. Tapos ngayon, yung natira, yun yung palalaguin mo hanggang maka 1 million ka. Store nga natin to. Store natin sa A. Okay. Ang future worth niyan is 1 million, di ba? 317 1 plus 0.08 raised to 4 o over 4. For ilang years ang aabutin? Oops. Raised to 4 pala. X. Loading. No solution. Why? Ship solved. Kulit na ito walang solution. Wala. Ano yung sagot natin kanina? 58 quarters. Ilan ba yung 58 quarters? 58 divided by 4. Dapat ano yan? Ano yan? 58 divided by 4. 14.5 years. Subukan nga natin. Engot yung calculator ko eh. 14.5. O yun, 1 million na. So ang sagot natin is 14.5 years. Okay? So kung kukumpitin natin, ang original plan mo, withdraw after ilang years yun? 8.75 years. Okay? Ngayon, dahil nagkaroon ko ng emergency, 3 years plus sa dagdagan ng 14.5 years. So, 17.5 years na ang naging actual. Imbis na 8 years lang, naging 17.5 years because of that emergency na nangyari sa'yo. So, 17.5 minus 8.75. So, 8.75 years ang aantayin mo. Ang tinatanong months kasi. Ilang months yun? times 12. O di 105 months. Teka, lagyan natin. Difference. 10.5 years. Ilang months yan? Ay, sorry, 10.5 ka. 8.75 pala, sorry. Tapos, ilang months yon? 105 months. So, same answer. Okay? So, different solutions. Yung isa use the definitions lang. Yung isa is formula. So, same answer. So, kayo na bahala mamili kung saan kayo mas komportable doon. Okay? So, this is the end of this video. I think yung susunod, meron pa kasing isang compounding period na may sariling formula. Which is, kasi diba makikita mo to paliit ng paliit. Annual, semi-annual, quarterly, bi-monthly, monthly. You can even go weekly, daily. Pero the last na i-discuss kong compound, nominal tsaka interest, nominal tsaka effective, is yung compounded continuously. Ibig sabihin, mas maliit pa sa segundo. O every second, tumutubo. Okay, parang compounded every second. Compounded every millisecond. Parang ganun. Okay, basta compounded continuously. Okay? O continuous compounding yung sunod na video dito. Okay, so I'll see you there.